we said it.
Hi, hello, welcome to another episode of Now We've Said It. I'm your host, Quisha. Y'all, it feels so good to be back. I don't know how many of you saw on my Instagram story for the podcast, but my computer crashed. I guess you could say I had some display issues and I couldn't see my screen. So my computer was at the Apple store for a while. So I was unable to record the podcast, but I'm here. I am back. I am so ready to talk about these Housewives episodes, y'all. Oh my gosh. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I don't really have any tea because I've been a little bit out of the loop because my life has been consumed with Bachelor Nation tea. So y'all, I'm just going to skip right over that because it is too much to talk about and I have too many episodes to recap. I'm gonna kind of skip hoppity bebop over Salt Lake City because part 2 is honestly was just like a lot of yelling over each other, and it's so hard to recap reunion episodes because of this reason. It's like a lot of people yelling back and forth, so I'm only going to hit on a couple of high points. I got the season premiere of Jersey to talk about and the stripper episode of Atlanta, y'all. So let's get right into it. Let's start with Salt Lake City reunion part 2. We get into Mary and her odor gland surgery. She said it was medically necessary because she would get boils, and I couldn't really understand exactly what she was saying, but y'all, she said it was medically necessary for her to get her odor glands removed. I guess I believe her. And then she talked about Jen, and she basically said there was no excuse for her talking about Jen's aunt like that or Jen smelling like the hospital. So she again apologized to Jen for all of that. Jen was like, I never even went to the hospital that day. Child. Mary said, I still smelled it on you. The essence was there. It was a LaCroix, y'all know what I'm saying. It was hospital flavored LaCroix, child. And then they asked Mary about the 7-Eleven comment, and y'all, I'm really confused on what she was exactly trying to say because in the show she did say that she said black people, but in the reunion she said all sketchy people in general. And even Meredith was like, that's what I got from what she was saying. I thought she meant all sketchy people. But Jen said you said black people, and you also said you said black people. So I don't know if I believe her on this. And then she even seemed confused. She was like, if I said that, I didn't mean it. Okay, girl, I feel like you did though. Then then they got into like her preferences as far as like what kind of men does she likes, and she said that her taste is not for black guys. And then Andy was like, so you like white guys? And then she kind of said yeah, and then Andy was like, but your husband's black. And she said, well, he's lighter. You see, that stuff right there, that problematic ass stuff. And what did they say? Mary has internalized racism. I definitely think she does. Okay, I guess you could say, oh, I prefer lighter skinned men. I guess it's like, why are you even saying this though? It's, child. Y'all, well, if you don't know or if you do, within the black community, there is like a thing called light skin privilege, and sometimes lighter skinned black people are treated better or differently than darker skinned black people. And Mary is perpetuating that by saying that statement. Also, if y'all look at older pictures of Mary, she was darker, so I think she did something to lighten her own skin. I'm gonna move on from that. I'm gonna just say I don't like that statement. You can like who you like, but just the way that it came out just really rubbed me the wrong way, y'all. I went feeling it. And then Jen and Mary go back and forth about, I think, the convenience store thing. And then Mary said, isn't your husband racist? Talking about Coach Shaw? What do you mean, baby? That's what I wanted some clarification for, because Jen crunk up and basically was trying to like shut Mary down. So we didn't really get more explanation as to what Mary was talking about. Come on, boo, spill the tea. I want to know. What about Coach Shaw? Because what does that mean? Racist against who? Oh, then Jen apologizes for calling Mary a grandfather fucker. And then they get on Jen about dragging Mary on social media. And Andy asks Mary, what exactly did Lisa and Meredith tell you about Jen? Did they say they were scared of her? And pretty much it was no. Mary said she asked Meredith how she felt about Jen treating her, and Meredith said she doesn't understand it at all. And it's every time at every event. And Meredith was like, I probably just said I don't like it. I don't understand it. And Andy was like, okay, so then how does that turn into them being afraid of you? And Mary points to Whitney. She goes, blonde Barbie over there. And then Whitney pipes up and says, what they said is they were afraid of Jen's reaction, not of Jen. Because Jen flips out very easily, which she does. And Andy even, tried to get some clarification from Heather. And Heather was like, it's true, you do explode when we tell you stuff. And then they showed a clip package of her exploding. So that's what they were afraid of, I guess, yeah. Then Lisa calls Heather and Whitney. She goes, Whitney and Heather, bad weather. Who wrote that for her, child? Heather said Lisa is only a friend to herself, and Lisa said, that's not true. I'm a friend of Meredith, and Meredith agrees. And then Lisa started yelling and pointing at Heather, screaming, you're the one that talked about her marriage. You couldn't wait to share that information. You're a bad friend. Don't talk about me. Meredith speaks up and says the next time anybody has anything to say about her or her family, they are not her friend. I guess. I want them to really address the fact that it was actually Jen. Hopefully they do this in part 3 because they did not get to it in part 1 or 2. But I want them to be like, hey, so what about Jen? Because if Jen would have never said anything, we would have never known anything about Meredith and Seth's marriage unless they said it themselves, which they kind of did. But Jen was the one talking about that dude in New York and all that kind of stuff. So I want them to address that directly. I know it seems like Jen was getting kind of like beat up a little bit on this reunion, but look at her behavior, honey. She deserves to be called out, and in my opinion, even more than she has been up until this point, because I feel like they're being a little nice with her, taking it a little bit easy. And I guess because she went through what she went through, but no, ma'am, that type of behavior is absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like that's who she is, and I feel like this is the exact same person we're gonna see in season 2. Ciao. Y'all let me know, how do y'all feel about the way they were questioning Jen at the reunion? I feel like all the questions were valid, and I actually feel like she should have been called out for more. But I'm gonna hold everything until we see part 3. And then they get to Mary and asking her about her step-granddaddy. Now, Andy says, is there something in the will that actually stated that you need to marry him? Are there receipts? Mary says, no, there are no receipts. Y'all see? Oh my God. She said her grandmother told her that she wanted her to take her place. And Andy was like, did she tell Robert as well? And Mary was like, no. Y'all, what does it all mean? He was like, well, how did he find out? And Mary was like, well, we prayed on it and we discovered it was God's will. But who brought it up? Okay, I know they're saying, oh, God didn't say that, okay? That's not something where God was like, hey, you guys down there, I want Mary and her step. How did they know it if Mary never told him? Something is sketchy about it, y'all. Something is very sketchy. And then Andy was like, well, looking at the age and everything, if we're going to believe that this is what your grandmother said, wouldn't it be more appropriate, more age appropriate for your mother to marry your granddaddy? And Mary was like, my grandmother had already put everything into place to go to me. Ciao. Then they talk about Charlinda, and y'all, Mary says, it's not that I don't know her, it's just that we don't hang out together, so I don't know everything about her life. And then we find out not only does Charlinda work for Mary, but Charlinda's mother. They got that old behind lady in there cleaning that house. Is she all right? Mary says she takes care of them. They clean her house and she pays their rent. She was like, they live in a little apartment, so they help me out and I help them out. I guess that's okay, but it's still something funny about making your older family members, like your elders, clean up after you and bring you that damn tray. I want a picture of the tray. I want to see everything that's on that damn tray. That tray is weird. Somebody else pointed out on another podcast that Mary's always only drinking liquid. She's like never really eating food. I'm peeping that now. What's in them trays, honey? Then he asked Mary, was she in love with Robert Sr.? And she goes, I think I am. Girl. And then she also confirmed that she was married before she married Robert. She said she didn't leave her husband to be with Robert. I don't believe that. Because she was 19 when she married that man. And she was like, 21, 22 when she married Robert? Something about that timeline seems super tight. Very convenient. She said they got divorced because of irreconcilable differences. Okay, well, what were they? So Andy asked her, is she still physical with Robert Sr.? And she says, no, not in the last few years. And he was like, so do y'all sleep in the same bed? And she was like, no. Listen, them old fogies, they don't be liking to share their bed, y'all. And you know what? To be honest, it actually sounds kind of lovely. As a person that shares a bed with a giant man, I would love my own bed. Shit sounds nice. So I don't put too much on them for not sharing the same bed. I know a lot of married people that are still very much in love and don't sleep in the same bed. It's more of a convenience and a comfort thing, you know? Sometimes you just want something to yourself, even if y'all are like living in the house together, being with each other every day, doing this and that together. Like, damn, at least when I go to sleep, can I have a little space? Back up off me, bruh. So then she gets emotional and she says, you know, everything she has, Robert bought for her and that they're happy. Right, girl. Okay. And then he brought up that audio tape that was released. I want to say it was released like around episode 2 or 3 of the season, where Mary was calling her congregation poor and they don't buy her enough gifts for her birthday. It was a whole damn thing, y'all. She said it was taken out of context. I don't know how. She was like, it had something to do with the Bible. The way you were blessed reflects how you live. Okay. And then she says her church is not a cult. And then all the other women say, well, everybody thinks Mormonism is a cult too, and it's not a cult. So they don't really get too much on Mary about her church being a cult. And I don't really see too much evidence that it's a cult either. Because then they talk about how her husband feels about all the stories that have come out, you know, about the church supporting them financially. And Mary was like, listen, y'all have seen the size of my church. There is no way they can't afford my lifestyle. They can't afford me. Like, I would never steal their money. She said, I'm a God-fearing woman and I would never take my church's money to fund my lifestyle. And for some reason, y'all, I believe her. Because she did say that her grandma had like restaurants and buildings and nurseries, nursing homes. I can't remember. She had all this weird stuff. And then, you know, like Mary said in the reunion, like as the businesses started dwindling down, Robert takes care of all that stuff and he saves all the money. I was like, okay. And then they asked Mary and Jen if they can let bygones be bygones. And they actually both seem to agree and say they can move forward. I'm actually kind of here for that because I think there's the best drama and there's the best group dynamic when they're all together. It's just a little bit shadier and more fun to watch. I missed Mary being at a lot of the events during this season, and I'm excited to hopefully see her return and come back next season and be a part of all the group stuff because y'all, Mary be giving lines and facial expressions, and she's just very funny to watch. She's a very interesting person. So then they move on to Heather, and they show her package, and they ask, how does she feel watching that back? And she says it's very therapeutic. And then he asked her, has being on the show helped her self-esteem? And she says yes. And then she talks about her kids. She says she wants them to be wild and free and have fun, get wasted, have multiple partners, just pretty much experience life. Y'all, when she said multiple partners, Mary's jaw dropped to the floor. But I understand what Heather is talking about because you just want to experience life. And nothing against people that only have one sexual partner. If that works out for you, good for you. But that scenario does not work for everybody. You know, you got to try a little bit. Take a little piece of this. Let me see what this flavor tastes like. Oh, is this chicken? Oh, what's this? Like, you want to taste all the flavors before you decide on what's your favorite flavor, you know? You don't want to be... Sex is very important in a marriage and in a relationship. And if you don't really have anything to compare it to, so you don't know if it's the best, child, he might be giving you that grade C D when you could be getting that bomb A dick. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know, honey. You know? So I hear Heather on that, and I definitely feel like, you know, when you have parents like Heather, they can go either one or two ways. They can either keep living their life lame and uptight and closed off because they're afraid of judgment, or they can let you be free and live the life that they didn't have to live. They want to live through you. They want you to like see the light in your eyes and, you know, live a little bit, baby, take a shot, you know, smoke a little weed or drink a little bit. Goddamn, you don't want to just be so boring. And like, what if that's not the life for you? That's all she's trying to say is like, I want my kids to like live it up, do it up. I applaud Heather for that because not a lot of parents admit that, especially Mormons and people that are super religious and uptight. They want their kids to live a certain way when knowing damn well half they ass and live that way they goddamn self. But anyway, then Lisa pipes up saying she thinks that Heather has the biggest ego from the show. She says that she wonders if Heather is just mouthy or mousy. Heather says, if you don't know me, then why did you recommend me for the show? Why did you recommend me for the show if you don't know me then? If you claim you don't know me, then how did you know to recommend me? And Andy said, that's a good point. Why did you recommend her if you claim you don't know her? And then they take a break and they just all start arguing, child. Lisa is standing up and yelling, saying that she is being accused of things that she didn't do. She and Heather go back and forth for a little bit, child. It's just, they were just yelling, calling each other liars and phonies and all this stuff. Lisa says, me and you can't be friends, talking to Whitney. Me and you can't be friends because Heather is getting in the way. And Whitney was like, Heather is not my keeper, honey. And then Whitney and Meredith leave. Because, y'all, they just truly arguing. And the whole time they're arguing, Andy's just on the phone checking Instagram, I'm assuming. These women are going back and forth in his face and he could not care less. Lisa starts to walk off the stage looking for her husband, and she starts ranting in the dressing room how nobody cares about her and y'all don't need to film this. And they can keep filming the union. And she says they can keep filming the reunion without her. And that's where the episode ends. All the women are kind of gathering, sitting back, getting back, settled down into their seats. And Andy is like, where's Lisa? Where's Lisa? And child, she back there throwing a damn fit, honey. That is the Salt Lake City reunion part 2 recap again, y'all. It was a very brief recap. It was a lot of yelling and it honestly gave me a headache. Reunions can be like, it's a very fine line. Like, I thought the Potomac reunion was amazing. It was just the right amount of yelling. But this Salt Lake City reunion, it's like they're yelling over each other a lot and they're not letting each other talk. And it's really hard to exactly hear what they're saying because they keep repeating themselves because they keep yelling and talking over each other. So that's it, y'all. I can't. Okay, child. So let's move on. I'm going to quickly go over Dallas. The new episode of Dallas actually premieres tonight. Today is Tuesday. You're getting this Wednesday morning. I'm going to talk about Dallas, Jersey, and Salt Lake City Part 3 on my Friday episode. Y'all, I'm going to try my best to get back to my Tuesday, Friday posts. I don't know if I've ever actually consistently posted on a Tuesday and or Friday, but you know what? That is my schedule. Hopefully, I can stick to a Tuesday, Friday schedule starting next week because you're getting this on Wednesday. But, you know, you'll definitely get an episode on Friday, and y'all know me, okay? I'm trying, y'all. I'm really trying. But let's quickly talk about Dallas very quickly because the episode was actually only really good at the end. The ladies head to Austin to celebrate Carrie's birthday because she didn't get to go away. They are staying in this gorgeous estate. They all take a party bus up there and they have to walk a half a damn mile. And a lot of them bitches are wearing Louboutins, heels, and high-ass boots, and they have to walk a half a mile because the party bus, like they got a tour bus, it won't make it up the skinny-ass driveway. So their bus driver, whose name is Busby, he's like, listen, a la Rock of Love, your tour ends here, honey. Get y'all ass off this bus and walk the rest of the way. So they walked up there. Carrie starts off the day by giving everybody a cheers and saying that how much she appreciates them being there. She apologizes to Tiffany. Everything seems cool, child. Then Deandra is gossiping, venting to Tiffany, basically saying how she doesn't believe Carrie's apology and it's all BS and they haven't even squashed their beef yet, and the only reason she's there is to try to get an apology, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Carrie and Cameron are on the other end of the door, hearing everything, so they kind of walk up. You know how you talking about somebody, and then you would see them, and then you try to quickly change the subject. So they quickly try to change the subject to like, oh, this bed is so uncomfortable, da-da-da. Talking about the beds, child. Cameron and Carrie are like, okay. So they kind of leave, but they hang around the door. And Carrie's like, I think they were just talking about us. So then they stay and they hear all that tea. And then Cameron and Carrie run and tell Brandy and Stephanie what's going on. And they were basically just like, well, maybe she's just jealous, da-da-da-da. Carrie starts crying, blah, blah, blah. They get ready for dinner. And Carrie and Cameron are downstairs making drinks. And in walk Tiffany and Deandra. And you can feel the tension. And it's so funny because Tiffany and Deandra have no clue. So they're just like, hey, da-da-da-da, like, oh, drinks. Now, luckily for Tiffany, she didn't say anything bad about Carrie. She was actually defending Carrie. She was like, maybe she's trying to turn over a new leaf and maybe you should give her a little bit more, grace. Good thing for Tiffany, child, because they would have let loose on her if she was talking trash too, but she wasn't, thankfully. They played chicken shit bingo. I've never heard of that game a day in my damn life. I'm from the South, but I ain't from that part of the South, child. Carrie wins the bingo game. They start to eat dinner and Carrie does a toast, y'all. She basically said, cheers to everybody. Thank y'all for coming. If you don't want to be here, Deandra, you can leave. And then they kind of get into it a bit. Deandra says that Carrie bullies her. And then Carrie goes, I bully you. Me and Cameron just heard y'all talking about us. And Tiffany's face is like, what? Like, y'all heard? And then you can see the life flash before her eyes. She was like, wait, what did I say? What did I say? Did I say anything bad? Was it me? What did I say? And then Deandra says that Carrie never tells her anything about her life. And Carrie says, in the end, you never really asked me anything about my life. And then Carrie says, Deandra will ask things about her life, but then she'll quickly try to change the subject. She doesn't really care. She's just like checking off boxes. Okay, did I say this? Did I say that kind of thing? And I get that vibe from Deandra. She definitely seems like that kind of person where she really she wants to ask about you, but she's really not listening. She just is asking about you because it's the right thing to do. And then Deandra kind of gets up and storms out, and she was like, do you want me here? Because if not, I'll leave. And then Carrie's like, I don't know. Do you want to be here? If not, you can leave. So then she gets out and she like goes to go leave. And on her way out, she tells Carrie to go fuck herself. So then we back and Deandra starts packing and stuff, and she's saying she's gonna leave, and Stephanie and Tiffany are trying to calm her down and get her to stay. And she basically says she's not staying unless Carrie apologizes. And then they shoot back outside, and Carrie says that Deandra can't stay unless she begs. So they are at a very stubborn standstill. Deandra calls Jeremy to vent, and I don't think he was expecting this phone call, y'all. He seemed a little bit lit, but he does give her some advice. He basically tells her, don't go, because if you go, Carrie's going to use that against you sometime in the future, which I also believe. Tiffany starts crying. I don't know for what reason. She goes outside and she starts crying, and she's like, she's really hurt. And Carrie's like, I'm hurt. And then they were like, why are you crying? Everybody's face is like, why are you crying? And Tiffany was like, I don't like when my friends fight. It reminds me of when my parents used to fight. Child. Everybody in the confessionals was like, honey, get it together. It is not about you. Carrie says it'll be over her dead body when she apologizes to Deandra. So, y'all, that is where we are right now with Dallas. And we get a little bit of a season preview, and it's really not giving me much, y'all. I just see a bunch of yelling and screaming of course, y'all. Of course, we have another murder mystery. Can we stop? The murder mystery is the new Great Gatsby party. It is the new vaginal rejuvenation. I'm sick of seeing murder mystery parties. I'm sick of vaginal rejuvenations, and I am very sick of Great Gatsby 1920s parties, like whatever those things are. It's like, y'all, come on, we can do better. We can do better, and I don't want to go see y'all smash plates and glasses either or throw axes either. All right? So that's Dallas, honey. Now, y'all, let's get into Jersey. The season 11 premiere of Jersey came in with a bang, all right? I am so excited for Jersey this season, y'all. It looks phenomenal. Lots of drama, marital issues, infidelities. Yeah, I'm very much here for Jersey. I'm so glad it seems like they're getting stronger and stronger each season. I gotta go back. I missed a couple of seasons of Jersey because it was just really boring. I think it was when Teresa was in jail. I don't think I watched those seasons. I can't even remember, y'all. I know I missed about 4 seasons. I think I missed about 4 seasons of Jersey. I'm guessing that will be 3 to 4. I'm going to go back and watch them, but I'm not in no rush, all right? I'm really liking where we are right now. So the episode opens up. We got Teresa and Jackie arguing about something we don't know yet. We see that they're at Margaret's house, and Jackie is screaming that she wants Teresa to admit that she's lying. And then we see Teresa walk out and started calling Jackie a C word for bringing Gia's name into whatever the argument was about. Now, we don't know what they were arguing about at this point, but by the end of this episode, we know. Teresa storms out. Black screen, white text. 3 days earlier, Jackie's putting together a birthday party for her husband, Evan. She says she's not going to take things for granted anymore because of coronavirus, so she's going to throw him a party, which is not something she would normally do, but life is short. They don't get to spend a lot of time with people, so they thought this would be the perfect opportunity to get people together and have a little celebration. Then we see Melissa and Joe. They're talking about how they're excited to go out. She's talking about Margaret's boob job, and Dolores got her second ass implant. Now, she said ass implant. I thought Dolores got BBL and then another lift. I don't think that's an implant, and the way that it moved and jiggled, it didn't give me implant vibes. That looked like it was all her meat. All right? Get it right. I don't like when people call ass implants a BBL, okay? There's a huge difference. An ass implant is a foreign object inside of your body, and a BBL is where they take fat from parts of your body and put it in your butt. It's a lot more natural, okay? So they're talking about that, and we see Jennifer and Bill. They're talking about how they're taking an Uber because they about to get lit, honey. We shoot over to Dolores. She's hanging out with Frank, who, surprised, bitch, where's David? And then she shows Frank her surgery scars, and he said, Dolores, you look like a filet. Let me tell you something I miss about Jersey. I miss those accents. I love that Jersey accent. I can't do it, but I love it. It is so good. I'm just happy to have the Jersey accents back, all right? And then we have Teresa. She's talking to Gia, and she's talking about how No passed, y'all. Oh my gosh. He had pneumonia, and then she said he had a mini stroke, and then 24 hours later, he was dead, and she was crying because she's like, I don't have any parents alive anymore, and I just feel lost sometimes. And Gia's basically trying to comfort her, saying, stop crying, get it together, drink some tequila, you'll be all right. So then we have everybody showing up to the party. We have Marge, y'all. The titties and the nipples are out and about. The nipples were leading the way, okay? Dolores arrives to the party with Frank. Again, where the hell is David? She's jiggling, shaking that booty, making it bounce and dance. Everybody's loving it, grabbing it, squeezing it. It's so cute. And then Melissa says that she hasn't spoken to Jen since the reunion. And Jen comes a little bit late, and Melissa is side-eyeing her already, but she says she's not going to say anything at the party because it's a happy event and it is not the time. Now, why didn't she tell that to Teresa? That advice should have went to Teresa, because girl. All right, y'all. Then they asked Jackie if she's going to give Evan a BJ for his birthday, and she said no, she doesn't like it. Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe that she also says that he doesn't go down on her. How do y'all feel about that? I mean, okay, if they both really don't like doing that, then good for them. But are you really telling me a man doesn't like getting a blowjob? Is that what you're telling me? There's a man out here in the world that don't like blowjobs? Huh? And I know how some women feel a little bit uptight about men going down on them. They feel insecure and stuff like that. Girl, if you don't bust them legs up. Yeah, something about that, y'all, is very, y'all. I've never in my life met a man that doesn't like a BJ. I definitely have heard of women not liking being, gone down on, but y'all don't know what y'all missing. But if they like it, I love it, y'all. But I'm definitely side-eyeing. Jackie says that Teresa has had a very rough decade and she only wants the best for her. Ooh. Yeah. She and Evan are talking to Teresa, saying, oh, we got a great guy for you. He's half Italian, half Jewish. Jen in the background goes, pizza bagel, I love it. I'm dead. Not pizza bagel, bitch. Pizza bagel. I cannot. Everybody's taking shots, having a good time, y'all, especially the men. The men are acting like city girls. They acting like they have never, they just had a baby and they ready to turn up. They were letting loose the guys, okay? Jackie gives a cute little speech saying that he's the best husband and father in the world, and they make out and it is disgusting. It was very performative and just not cute, but good for them, I guess. Then you see Teresa's messy ass walking around the party going, I heard he does stuff, doesn't he? And Melissa's like, what stuff does he do? What do you mean he does stuff? Like what? And then she's like, at the gym, I heard he does stuff. Melissa was like, what the freak are you talking about? I heard he gets blowjobs at the gym. Bitch. Melissa was like, I've never heard anything like that. I do not know. And then Teresa's like, oh, well, let me go ask Margaret because she lives in the area. So maybe Margaret knows. And Margaret's like, no, I have never heard anything like that before. Then you see Teresa just going around the party asking people. She asked Dolores. She asked Joe. She's talking to some other lady. I'm telling you, I think she told like 4 or 5 people at the party. I heard he gets blowjobs at the gym. Doesn't he do stuff at the gym? Like, what's he doing? What's going on at the gym? Everybody's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. The only person that said something was Jennifer. And she said, Teresa told me this rumor a long time ago, but I just let it go in one ear and out the other because Teresa don't even remember who told her. Yeah, now this the shit right here. Who told you that? I mean, I'm not saying it can't be true because, like I said, never met a man that did not like a blowjob. So, maybe he is going to get blowjobs at the gym because he's not getting them at home. I'm not saying you have to suck your husband's dick if you don't want to, but men like that. They like the BJ. Listen, even if you give a lazy one every now and then, a lazy BJ is better than no BJ. I'm real good for a lazy one here and there. You gotta get the engine started. I'm gonna move on because this ain't about me. I sucks dick, okay? So yeah, basically, Teresa goes around running her mouth. Meanwhile, Jackie and Evan are running around this party just as happy as can be, y'all. They are not having a care or a clue in the world that Teresa is going around spreading this damn rumor about him. So the next day, all of the men are going through it. The city boys are down, okay? They are hungover. They show footage of Margaret's Joe puking in the bushes, child. Jennifer's husband, Bill, they took some pictures. He had his shirt open. I don't know what was going on in those pictures, but he had a good time. You know what? When I first seen Jennifer's husband on their first season, I was giving him the side eye because I thought he was like controlling. I thought he was weird, but he's actually really funny. I like Bill. He is cool. He's a fun guy. Very different from how he looked or how he came off in their first season. Very different. He's trying to take a nap. The kids won't let him sleep, child. They're all running around. Joe Gorga is hungover trying to get some sleep. They have Antonia has her little friends over there giggling, child, on FaceTime with Antonia's boyfriend Mikey and Kevin, I guess. They're all basically, we're shooting between all the houses, and the men are like, so what was Teresa talking about? Like, what? Everybody's all confused. Then they shoot over to Bill, Jennifer's husband, and he goes, I mean, he is a good looking guy. He does work out. He's got a good job. I'm like, look at him. Listen to him, chav. True tea, though. And Joe Gorga's like, my sister, she holds a grudge. Remember, Jackie was going around saying that Teresa was cheating on Joe. And Melissa was like, yeah, but that's based off of photos that she actually saw. That was actual, evidence. It's not just, some rumor that she pulled out of the air. Teresa was seen with this young man, and Jackie was just commenting on it. She wasn't, making up nothing out of nowhere. That's what Melissa was saying, and I agree. We find out Antonia is turning 15, and she has a little boyfriend. Like I said, Melissa says that since she can't really do a big party for her, because of coronavirus, she's just going to take a few of her friends. They're going to go down to the shore. And they're inviting the two boys, Mikey and Kevin, ? Melissa's like, they won't be alone at all together. Joe Gorga's like, I don't like my daughter having a boyfriend. I bet you if it was the other way around, if it was the little one, what's his name, Joey Jr.? I bet you he can have a girlfriend though, right? Joe. Then we shoot over to Dolores' house, y'all. So she's visiting David. Now listen to this. Dolores said that she and Frank built David a house. She had yet to move in, so she was living with Frank, her ex-husband, y'all. Then coronavirus happened, and Frankie Jr., their son, moved back home from college, and then he decided to take some test to get his business license degree, y'all, I don't know. And because there was too much going on at Dolores' house with the dogs and a lot of noise, he moved into David's house. Frankie Jr. moved into David's house, Dolores' boyfriend's house, because it's nice and quiet and David's actually helping him study. So you have your son living with your boyfriend and you're still living with your ex-husband. Somebody make it make sense, please. And then Dolores says that she and David are kind of at a rocky point with their relationship because when she got her surgery, she didn't tell him until the day before because he is not for elective surgery. And I believe he is some sort of a doctor. And he just you didn't need it. Here go the thing. And who is anybody to tell anyone else what they need for their body? That's what people always quick to say when people want to get plastic surgery. You don't need it. Says who, bitch? Me, if I want to get this surgery, I do need it. It's necessary to me. It's my body. I can do what I want. I don't like that. Especially no man telling a woman what she can and cannot and should not do with her body. He can kick rocks with that. It's just something about him. I don't know why he's stalling on giving Dolores the commitment that she deserves. He should propose to her. He should move her in. Why is it taking him so long to make these steps? I'm just really confused as to what exactly the holdup is. It doesn't even seem like they get along, so I'm not even saying it's a good idea to do it at this point, but what? And the sad part is he seems like he gets along great with Frankie Jr. When Frankie Jr. left the room, he's like, I love you guys, and how he's pushing Frankie to study and stuff. So it's going to be really difficult if they ever do break up just because of the dynamic they've built. He's good friends with Frank. It just seems like a really good situation, except for the fact that he will not marry this woman. Not even saying that that's what she wants, but I know she wants more of a commitment than the way that they're living right now. I know that ain't it, sis. Tell that man what you want. You deserve it. Then we have Jennifer getting together with her family. They're having dinner, and we find out that her father is living with her because her mother is being mean as hell. Basically, her mother is so difficult to live with that Jen decided it was best that her father come stay with them because of the way that her mom was treating him. Ugh. Then they shoot over to her dad, and he looks so sweet and old and fragile and cute. And he looked scared. Like, oh my God, y'all, it almost brought tears into my eyes. I don't like seeing old people look vulnerable like that. He just looked so helpless and like, why is she being so mean to him? I don't understand. It really made me really sad. And then we see Jackie. She calls Teresa to have her meet at Margaret's house. Now, this is the scene that we got in the beginning of the episode, but now we can really see what's tea, you know? And she says she feels like Margaret's place is a nice neutral spot for both of them to go. Teresa agrees. Jackie says she doesn't understand why Teresa would want to do this to a happy family. It's just like Joe Gorga said, Teresa holds a grudge real good. If y'all watched all the drama with her and Melissa throughout the years, they finally got to a nice place, but oh my gosh, the struggle was too real. Bless Melissa, because I wouldn't be able to do it. Teresa, no ma'am, I would never let somebody talk to me or do the things that Teresa did to Melissa. Melissa is a saint, I'm telling y'all. And I know Melissa hasn't always been perfect, but I feel like she did a lot of things in like retaliation to the way that Teresa treated her. And the little petty things that Melissa did do to Teresa were nothing compared to the things Teresa did to her child. But anyway, I'm gonna move on. Jackie says she basically just wants Teresa to admit that it's a lie. She comes over, you know, she says hi to Margaret and some other lady that's there. And she was like, how far are we willing to let somebody like Teresa go? She's made up rumors about people. She's been physical. She's threatened people. And then they roll the clip of Teresa being absolutely horrible. I cannot stand Teresa. She is so stubborn, and she can never admit when she's wrong, and when she does, it's always with a but, or there's always something tagged onto it. She can never take accountability. She's very good at pointing the finger. At least other housewives, you see them grow sometimes when they apologize and they realize the things that they've done, but Teresa just cannot, for the life of her, swallow her pride and suck it up. And that is why I don't think this is going to go well between her and Jackie. But the one thing about Jackie is not going to back down. And I've seen Jackie stand up for herself over and over and over again, and this is not going to be any different. She is not about to buckle over or bow down to Teresa, and I am so here for this. I am so here for it. It's like it's about time that somebody came around that can really, really stand up to Teresa, because Melissa could, but she didn't want to break up their family because of the kids and everything. So I know Melissa wanted to go there plenty of times, but she just couldn't, because at the end of the day, they are family. So let somebody that's not family step in and put this B together. And I hope, I'm so excited for this season, y'all. I am so excited. So Teresa arrives and Jackie's like, can I just talk for a minute? And she was like, you know, I have a beautiful family. Why would you do this to us? Teresa says, I was just repeating what I heard. It's something I heard. And Jackie was like, so who did you hear it from? And Teresa's like, I don't know. She either said I don't know or I can't say. Either one is like, what? And then Teresa's like, I don't even care. It's like, okay, so if you don't care, then why are you talking about it at all? Why did you even bring it up? And then Teresa was like, so you're telling me if I heard something like this, you wouldn't want me to tell you? And then she even looks at Margaret. She was like, Margaret, what if I knew Joe was cheating? Would you want me to tell you? Margaret was like, yeah, but not at a party. And then Teresa's like, okay, so maybe I shouldn't have said it at the party, but I was drinking. See, that's what I'm saying, y'all. The apology but. Jackie the whole time is like rolling her eyes, trying to keep herself together. And that's the thing, is like, okay, so yeah, I would want you to tell me, but why? You didn't tell Jackie. You told everybody else except Jackie. And you said it at a party. So it's like, Teresa, you knew damn well what you were doing when you were starting this rumor at this party. Because you said, oh, what do you want me to tell you? Yeah, tell me, honey. Don't tell Margaret, Melissa, Joe, Dolores, Jennifer, Joe Gorga. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, tell me, tell Jackie, bitch. And then Teresa was like, well, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. Now listen, she might have a little bit of truth at that point, okay? She might have a little truth, cause who giving the BJs? She's not willing to admit that it's a lie. Jackie's begging her, can you please just say you made it over? Can you please just say it's a lie? Can you please? Teresa's like, no, like, I heard it. I'm just saying what I heard. And then Teresa's like, if y'all don't care so much, if y'all know it's not true, then why do y'all care? True, but also it's like, because you said this on TV. And if this man really is not cheating, you're like dragging his name through the mud just to get back at somebody for something that was probably true about you. Child, then here go Jackie. Here's the bomb. Jackie says, well, what if I heard, you know what I heard? Gia does coke in the bathroom at parties. I don't know if it's true. It's just a rumor I heard. How do you feel about that, y'all? Teresa exploded. Fuck you. Don't you dare bring kids into this. You are dead wrong. You're trash. How dare you? You see word. You see word. That's actually the title of the episode. It's called See You Next Tuesday. The word cunt doesn't mean anything to me, y'all. I'm black, and I never even heard that word until I was in my 20s, so that's not like a hurtful word for me. But I heard to white women's, cunt is a very hurtful word. That's what she was calling Teresa. That's what Teresa was calling Jackie over and over again. Ciao. And Teresa pretty much like got up and stormed out. Margaret was like, what's going on? Teresa was like, she brought my daughter into this. How dare she? That piece of trash. That C, da da da. Jackie sitting there letting Teresa yell at her cool as a cucumber. I'm surprised she didn't like get up and crank up, but I understand. So that's where the episode ends, and then we get the season preview, y'all. Oh my gosh, there's infidelities. I think there's definitely something going on between Melissa and Joe and somebody else, or Dolores and Frank. There was too much happening in that preview for me to really break it down. Y'all, the only thing I can say is this season looks incredible. So about the Teresa and Jackie thing, whose side are you on? It's really hard to pick a side in this thing, because if Jackie wouldn't have said the thing about Gia, I would have been on Jackie's side. It's like, I understand why she said Gia, because she can't say Joe, because Teresa don't give a fuck about Joe. She said Gia to get at her heart, because that's what Teresa did to Jackie. She used her husband, got at her heart. So Jackie was just using the next person, the next person that she could. I mean, she could have said something about never mind. I was going to say her parents, but her parents are dead. But I guess use the parents as, just if you're trying to do tit for tat, you really can't, because Teresa is not like with Joe. So she don't give a damn. So how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all think she should have used Gia? Do y'all think that was a perfect example? I mean, it is a family member for family member. Y'all let me know. I did see somewhere that Gia did respond. I do not have her response, but I'll talk about it on Friday's episode. I'll look it up and we'll talk about it. So that is Jersey. I'm going to get a drink because I have not stopped talking yet. And we're going to come back and we're going to wrap this up with the Atlanta stripper episode, y'all. Okay, I'm back. So that actually took longer than expected. Cool. All right, anyway, you guys, let's get into this episode of Atlanta. It was a good one. This is definitely one of those episodes that's going to go down in the history books, okay? Right up there with Scary Island is going to be this episode. It was insane. Okay, so we start off with Kenya doing that Basic Instinct interrogation scene that we saw earlier on in the season, that preview. I still don't know what the point of this was. All of the women kind of got their turn in that interrogation seat. So for right now, I'm just going to call it the hot seat, because I don't really know what else to call it. I've never seen Basic Instinct, but I know the way Kenya was dressed. I know it's from that movie. I've never seen it though. Y'all don't judge me. Whatever. So you have her pretending to smoke a cigarette, child, and a producer asks her, what is the definition of a freak hoe? And as she's talking, going back and forth, answering the questions, we keep getting flashes from the party, giving us little preview, little sneak peeks here and there. We see whips and chains and booties shaking and thongs and fishnets, swings. She says someone who will basically be a hoe for anyone. And then she's asked, did you engage in any freak hoe activity? And she goes, wouldn't you like to know, Mr. Producer? And she goes, someone screwed the stripper. It wasn't me, but I'm going to find out who did. Then the screen flashes one day earlier. Now it picks up where we left off last week with the ladies coming back from dinner. Candy told them to get changed into pajamas. They got 15 minutes, honey. You have Cynthia on the phone with Mike with no clue as to what's going on outside that door. She's like, yeah, we're just getting ready to wind down for the night. Baby, if only you knew. So the women get all dressed, and y'all, it's a lot of booty on the screen, okay? A lot of booty, a lot of cheeks, a lot of clappers. They all look incredible, body yaddy yaddy all over the place. Candy cracks that whip. She calls Cynthia down. She tells the women to kind of go like in the background so Cynthia can't see them. Sorry if y'all hear the plane. I'm not stopping, okay? Gotta get this podcast up. You can see the sex swing in the background of Candy trying to bring Cynthia downstairs. And then all the ladies walk out and Cynthia's like clutching her pearls, y'all. You have all the ladies like laying all sexily. It looks so cute. They're all participating and it looks like so much fun. Kenya is laid out on her back on the ottoman with her legs akimbo. You got one leg going that way, the other leg going the other way. Spread, all right? Spread. Drew, being petty in her confessional, goes, now if Kenny can do that for her husband, then she would still be married. Nah. No. Candy says that Cynthia is acting real auntie-ish and she gave her an outfit to put on. They keep flashing to the stripper outside. He's still in that cage. You know what's funny is, think about, I wonder how long was he in that cage, and did the camera people tell him to like perform before? Because he's doing all these moves, licking his tongue, looking all in the camera, moving his body, like, so that you just did that for you and the cameraman. How long did you do that, and how long were you in that cage? And they still don't know he's outside. Cynthia goes upstairs to put on her outfit. Marlo goes up to join her. Candy instructs Shamia to take this little vibrating device so Cynthia can put it in her panties and Candy can activate her whenever she wants. And then they have Cynthia in the hot seat, and the producer is asking her if BOLO, the stripper, paid any extra attention to her. And again, we see flashes from the party. Then Candy instructs all the ladies to walk outside so they can get a look at BOLO. Everybody is taken aback, including me, because there was about 1.5 seconds where they showed his stuff without blurring it out, you know, still in the clothes. And I seen that thing hanging to the left, real heavy, like, real threatening, you know. That was a lot. There was a lot going on. They escort him inside, and everybody is looking very excited to see BOLO. Marlo is judging the lady. She was like, listen, Marlo's breaking it down. Marlo was like, you got Candy going through it with Mark. Portia and Dennis broke up. LaToya is still trying to decide if she wants to be married to her man. So all of these ladies are looking at BOLO with lust and sexual agenda in mind, all right? He also had on this fake Chanel outfit, and Marlo was like, I see you, BOLO, with that fake Chanel. I appreciate you, though. She said she appreciated it. And so the ladies are all on the couch, and he started doing all kinds of splits and back flips and back bends. And like I said, they got to put the blur over his giant junk. And then he reaches down in his pants. Y'all, he pulls that thing out and the ladies lose their minds. Y'all, I'm sorry y'all can hear the birds. Good Lord. So they're dancing. They're throwing money on him. Why is Cynthia only giving him $4 at a time? I'm so confused. Girl, if you don't make it rain on that thing. They're having a good time dancing. Everybody's enjoying themselves. Portia is really into it. She is so drunk. Portia was drunk before he even got there. Like before he even came back upstairs. Portia was already lit. You could tell she was just ready to let loose and have a lot of fun. And that they did do. After BOLO does his little performance, he excuses himself to the restroom. They start putting Cynthia in the swing. Candy is demonstrating how to use the swing, and I'm on the market for a swing. Speaking of, my friend Jaquana just tagged me in something where Candy is now selling sex swings. So I just might buy one from her, child. Because listen, if you're going to buy one, why not buy one from Candy? She clearly knows what she's doing. Candy had that party jumping, okay? Then you see Kenya saying, bring back BOLO. And Portia's like, let me go get him. And then we can't see anybody, but we see their conversation on the screen. Portia was like, the ladies want to know if you can come back. And he was like, to do what? Portia was like, I don't know, party. And she had that little voice, I don't know, like, party. And he was like, are they still filming? And Portia was like, nah, it's cool. So Candy then says, now hopefully these producers can turn off these cameras so we can get a little bit of fun. Hopefully y'all got all the footage y'all need. Then they show the producers and they're like, hold on, we're gonna wrap up. Let me just find out first. Y'all. So the producers leave. You see them leave and they tell the ladies to have a good night. You know, they got their footage. And then you see Tanya and Candy talking. Or no, it was Candy and LaToya. And LaToya goes, wait, Candy, there's still cameras like up around the house. And Candy said, I don't give a fuck about them cameras. They go around the house covering up the cameras. Y'all, they're turning them this way, turning them that way. So we can't really see what happened. So we only got like little glimpses of some of the cameras that were still facing the right way. And then there was one like outside. So we got a little bit of footage from the window. But for the most part, we don't know what happened. We don't know. So this is what we do know and what we hear and what we see. We hear Portia saying, I guess I'm a bisexual tonight. Somebody's eating me tonight. And then we get back from commercial and Drew is in the hot seat. They ask her what time did she go to sleep, and she said she doesn't remember what time, but she knows she wasn't the last person to go to sleep. And then they ask her where did Bolo go to sleep, and she said I have no clue where Bolo slept. So we cut back. It's the next morning. It's 8:45. Clothes everywhere, drinks thrown everywhere. You can definitely tell they had a good time. And then Kenya's like she's gonna give us the tea. We see 1:18 a.m. Kenya says she went upstairs to check on Brooklyn, and then we see Bolo saying, oh, this Bolo after dark. And then Kenya was like, I heard sexy music. And then she said she came down and she sat down next to Cynthia, and then we see footage of Portia and Latoya making out and like grinding over each other. And then Portia's like, I remember making out with a couple of people, or was it just one person? I don't know, but I had a good time. And then we see some of the footage from the outside camera, but you can't really see anything because it's black and white, and then they also have blinds up, so it's like, child, we're trying to peek through the blinds to get a little taste. All I just saw is like somebody's body moving up and down, but it looked like they were dancing. And then you see Drew. We find out that it's Drew. She like bent over, and then she goes, I just remember being face down into a coffee table. And so it looks like the party wrapped up at around 5 a.m. Kenya says she got up at around 6 and nobody was in the living room, but she could hear noises, moans and groans coming from the hallway. Then they show Bolo leaving at 7:06 a.m. Y'all, something happened. Or did it? I don't know, y'all. How much do y'all bet we finna get an interview from Bolo, child? If he hasn't already done one. So we see Cynthia sleeping. It's like 11 a.m. Drew comes into her room and they start talking about what happened. Drew says, I'm taking back home a couple of trips I learned the night before. She was like, my husband's gonna be thankful that I learned these little twerking tricks. Twerking tips. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. It seemed like Cynthia turned in a bit early too, before all the real like freaky deaky festivities started. So they're just trying to like piece together what they know and when they went to bed and all this kind of stuff. Then you have half the ladies, they're going on a boat ride or going fishing, and the other half are staying back to sleep because y'all, they are hungover. Marlo is packing up Hennessy, tequila, and sparkling rosé. She's definitely hitting them with a little hair of the dog. That happened to me on Sunday, y'all. I was going through it. I was drunk for 2 days, dog. I can't do that no more. But will I be drinking wine tonight? Yes, because I want to watch The Bachelor. I feel like it just goes hand in hand. You cannot watch The Bachelor without something to drink. First of all, it's too dumb. And I'm just looped in the Bachelor Nation. So, I need wine to get through it. Then Kenya comes downstairs insinuating all the sexual activity that happened, what went down or what did not go down. And for some reason, she's trying to drag Drew into it. But also, Drew is looking nervous. But I think Drew is looking nervous like the rest of the ladies, because it's like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you trying to, like, expose everybody? And it gets even worse, y'all. And Drew said exactly, Kenya should do what Marlo says and keep her mouth closed. So the ladies go fishing, well, half of them. And then you have Kenya and Cynthia down by the pool. They're talking about the things that happened. And Kenya was like, there was breast out. And so was a Bolo was out, like his stuff. And Kenya said she was shocked by Drew. It just seemed like Drew was just twerking. I don't know, y'all. Latoya comes down. She has a whip. She claims she wasn't kissing on anyone, but child, we saw you kissing on Portia. Kenya asked Latoya, well, what proof do you have to prove that you weren't with Bolo this morning? And Latoya was like, I was on Instagram. So they showed her footage. I guess she went live at 6 a.m. Listen, that still don't mean you couldn't have got down from 5 to 5:30. 5:30 to 6, little 30-minute in and out. Shamia and Tanya come downstairs and they get questioned as well, and they just not having it, especially Tanya. Tanya is being tight-lipped and she seems very annoyed by the line of questioning, and I agree. It's like, damn, baby, chill. Like, Kenya wasn't asking like in a fun way. She was asking in like a, ew, y'all nasty, so what did y'all do kind of way, like shaming them. Slut shaming. There it is. And then they shoot over to the ladies fishing. They're talking about Kenya and Marlo getting along. They're trying their best. Marlo caught a shark, y'all. And they get back to the house and Candy immediately demands food, which is like, yeah, especially after a night of drinking, you want food on deck. Spicy stuff, seafood, or like some sandwiches, greasy food. I prefer more of a spicy the next day, in between a spicy and a greasy, But to come home to nothing, it's like Kenya did such a poor job at planning this party. If it wasn't for Candy taking over the bachelorette party, this trip would have been so lame. They should never let Kenya plan anything ever again. And I know it was like the show did it, but there are certain things that the housewives do have to do, like make sure that there's food, organize this and that. Kenya didn't do shit. Speaking of spicy food, we shoot over to LaToya. She's trying to do a seafood boil. Y'all, it wasn't no water in the pot. So Marlo had to come to her rescue. Fun fact, Marlo is actually from the same area as me, as where I live. Clearwater, St. Pete area. You know, we know a thing or two about a seafood boil down here in Florida. So Marlo had to step in and she was like, why you already putting the shrimp in here? Like, first of all, the shrimp's supposed to go in last because they cook in like 2 minutes. You're supposed to drop them and pick them up, honey. Put some water in that pot. Yeah, I didn't see no butter. Marlo had to put the butter in. It was just like, this is given unseasoned. Marlo was like, nah, you can eat these mushy shrimp for you and we gonna eat the other one, child. Because why you put them shrimp in there already? So Kenya is still like pressing. She's been doing it all day. Still pressing the girls, trying to figure out who's involved with BOLO. She's asking Candy if she heard anything. Kenya says she heard a noise coming from one of the spare bedrooms. She heard F me harder and F this P harder. Kenya says she feel like she heard multiple voices, but she knows for a fact that one of those voices was Portia, but she's not sure who the other person is. Candy is like, why do you keep bringing this up? Like, you should keep your mouth closed. Why are you trying to expose people? Cynthia says that she wants to get Marlo and Kenya to a better place, so she actually takes Marlo up to Kenya's room and they have a kumbaya, honey. Kenya says that Marlo hits below the belt a lot, especially when it comes to what she said about her mom, and Marlo says that she's in a different place now, and she apologized for everything that she said that hurt Kenya, and Kenya apologized to her for putting her in that crappy room and for all the things that she did, and it actually seemed very genuine from both of them, so I hope this is going to put them in a better place. Because y'all, they just gotta put this. You just can't keep repeating things, saying the same things that you said in the past. This hurt me. And it's like, well, okay, well, how many times do you want me to apologize for it before we can actually move forward? So hopefully they move forward, y'all. You know, we don't know. Then you have Portia, Shamia, and Tanya. They're meeting up in one of the rooms, and they're talking about Kenya trying to snitch everybody out. Portia was like, what is she insinuating? It seems like she was saying that Portia and Tanya were involved with the stripper. Portia says she's not going to give it any attention, and you can see Tanya is still very upset. And Portia proceeds to get more and more upset as the night progresses because she's like, why is Kenya doing this? Why is she trying to put a damper on our good time? And then they go downstairs and Portia asks LaToya, how do you feel now about your friendship with Kenya after Kenya was trying to expose all of us? And Toya was like, now I know what the issue is with Kenya because she's making our fun night into a problem. Agreed. So they sit down for the seafood boil. Marlo and Kenya come down holding hands, y'all. It is odd. Portia has an attitude. It gets to the point to where you can't be phony around people, especially when it comes to Portia and Kenya. Portia is sick of like trying to cater to Kenya's attitude. You can tell Portia is really hella over it with Kenya. They get ready to like pray over the food and they shoot over to Portia and she was like, I'm not in a prayer mood. And then we get a to be continued. Y'all, this episode was so good. I'm sure there's things that I missed, but there was so much going on, like so much flashing. Y'all, my behind watched this sexy ass episode at 6 o'clock this morning, okay? So I'm sure there were some things that I missed. I was probably a little groggy still, but I'm definitely gonna watch that episode over again. It was just too good. So how do y'all feel about everything? How do y'all feel about Kenya trying to expose everybody? Do you feel like she should keep trying to get down to the bottom of it to figure out who was messing around with BOLO? Or should she just let it go and just chop it up, chunk it up till I'm having a good time? And just like a ladies' night, what happened in the dungeon stays in the dungeon. Like Candy said, clearly you can tell what my opinion is. It's like there's always that one person at the party that's like always trying to embarrass people. And I don't like that. It's like, you know, when you having fun and you're drinking, like Candy said, that was supposed to be a judgment-free zone. If you're gonna judge, you need to leave. So Kenya should have left right then and there because everybody else was cool. It was only Kenya. Only Kenya kept bringing it up. And it's like, damn, chill out. I feel like she might be trying to distract from what's going on in her marriage with Mark. But girl, this ain't it. So that is going to wrap up this episode. Y'all, hopefully this is not too long. But, you know, I had to catch up with y'all. I will see y'all again on Friday. Thank you so much for listening. Please be sure to give me positive stars, give me 5 stars, whatever, thumbs up, positive, whatever a thing is where you listen. Comment to me, y'all. I do talk back. Follow me on Instagram. Now we've said it. All of my information, email, Instagram, and all of that for the podcast will be in the show notes in the description box down below. Show me some love. I really appreciate it, and it really helps me out. So until next time, Friday, I'll see y'all later. This has been another episode of Now We've Said It. Bye.
But now we said it.